What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about SoFi. More specifically, some expectations for this upcoming week, what might cause some volatility, and go over everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. SoFi was able to close at its 52-week high on Friday, 13.01. So I'm going to talk on options, what that means for Monday, what big money did after hours on Friday, and all the other stuff. And on a side note, my apologies for not doing all that much in videos. I clearly decided to take the wrong week for vacation. Very burnt. I don't know if you can tell based on the color of the shirt. Kind of matches. But yeah, definitely got quite burned regardless. And SoFi had a phenomenal week. So over the last 5 days, up 20.66%. And over the last week or last couple of days, over the weekend, you have seen Bitcoin running like a madman. So a lot of people correlate Bitcoin with people's appetite for risk. And so, of course, it is going up, meaning a lot of other growth stocks such as SoFi and many others in the market are going to continue its run. So again, there's that at play. For this upcoming week though, data points, you have a lot of Fed speakers on Tuesday. Bond market is closed on Monday, so historically that does result in lower volume. You have CPI on Wednesday, PPI, initial jobless claims, retail sales on Friday. So a lot of stuff coming out, but in my opinion, it is all just going to come down onto kind of shorts and what big money, the big entities out there are doing. And it's one thing that if algos are really driving the volume, but in SoFi's case and just many other stocks that could have been seen as kind of undervalued for the most part leading into the elections, big money is buying the craziness out of them. So starting off, I'm going to go over what short's been doing, and my apologies again, I like to always give updates on all this, but generally this last week they did return some shares, not as much as I would have anticipated. So going into this upcoming week, 16.15% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 172 million shares overall are being shorted, and that's around $2.05 billion. Friday, shorts did return 371,000 shares. Cost of borrow average is 0.8. So nothing really crazy to write home about. Like I said, they've kind of been returning, but the fact that SoFi just this week alone went up 20%, shorts are like, I think if SoFi does continue this momentum and it does get to roughly around that 1450, this might be a bold statement, but you might start to see some margin calls with shorts. So yes, it's very easy to short SoFi because it's cheap, low cost to borrow, but needless to say, SoFi going up, you need a lot more margin to cover that. So they're playing with borrowed time right now, but obviously sometimes crystal ball is wrong, but let me know your thoughts on that. But on Friday, you had $64 million in calls, 4.09 million in puts. So dollar value wise, that was a new record for SoFi. So hell of a lot of optimism. 58% of all the options being done on Friday were optimistic and bullish. So normally what happens is shorts increase, they hedge, and of course that's how you get this kind of sometimes misleading number of bullish options. But yeah, this truly is actual optimism. And of those call options that are being purchased, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around that $15 range or in excess of that. And the Elliott Wave technicals are actually saying that exact same thing. So yeah, it's a very, very fun time for this upcoming week. So with this chain just closing, so for the November 8th chain, so you have roughly not counting that, those are small numbers, but 7,000 at the 1150, 30,000 at the 12, 61,000 at the 1250, and then 15,000 at that 13. All that is in the money. So what that means is market makers will have to cover that because essentially you see some activity after hours kind of covering. One big one right here, 1.8 million shares, that equates to $24.6 million worth. A couple others, so that's obviously market makers. All of that was done after hours, but clearly not enough to cover all of this. So a couple of things that could be done. You could see some very, very bullish call options with low strike prices just to ensure that they do get kind of exercised just to cover those. So that might be done, or possibly just a lot more buying on Monday. And with the bond market closed, like I said, historically lower volume, you could see a very quick spike up as a byproduct of that. So yeah, honestly, even looking at next week, it's a fun old time. So this is all the stuff that was purchased. Yeah, honestly, SoFi is the stock to be in. Of course, there's a lot of other stocks out there that are going up, but I think a lot of SoFi investors are finally breathing calmly, because normally whenever SoFi's kind of ran up due to earnings, it always sells off. This is pretty much the first time since I've been covering it that it's continued this run, and I think that is largely because of big money and Anthony's recent fireside chats kind of aligning with what has been happening in the broader market. Everything has been coming to fruition. So these are all the transactions that have occurred on Friday above $100,000. So these are all the after hours activities. My apologies for going relatively fast. There's quite a lot, but a lot of that is just market makers, most likely obviously covering options. This is a lot of the buying that's been happening that caused it to pretty much, for whatever reason, just hit new FOMO levels or something like that. Very, very little selling, sporadic all over the place. But yeah, a lot of big money is backing up the bus with SoFi. Dark pool as well is very popular. So dark pool is usually used by a lot of large entities and just shorts. So this one was very popular as well. A little bit more active than the secondary market, but still is good to analyze. But with this upcoming week, with it at 1301, it is trading between this R3 and this R2. So next strong kind of target / resistance will be 1401. Next strong support will be $12.51. So I believe I covered this in my last video, but there was one new rating did come out 9 days ago. I can't remember if I covered this or not, but DBS, Ken, who has a 78% success rating, $11 price target. Elliott Wave Technicals are projecting for it to hit roughly around that 1550 in the short term. So that is aligning with the actual options as well. And just on the chart itself, honestly, there's not much, like everything is bullish. So it is above the ALMA, 50, 100, 200-day moving averages, super trend, MACD, everything is looking very good. So yeah, honestly, I think this upcoming week you could easily see that 1450 kind of, or in excess of that, being touched, or who knows, it could go crazy high as what we've seen in the past. There's a lot of volatility coming in the foreseeable future. So technically the first sign of weakness across the board, you might see some extra volatility in the downside, profit taking and stuff like that. But right now, nobody's thinking about taking profits or anything like that, especially Bitcoin continuing to run up. I think people's appetite for risk is on the table. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Once again, my apologies on not doing all the videos. I am back at it. So I'll be doing my daily SoFi videos and all the other fun jazz that hopefully you guys appreciate. And with all that said, appreciate all of you watching.